Coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, and all across the world, psychic, medium, and energetic healer Sheena Metal brings you Messages from Spirit.
Hi, and welcome to Messages from Spirit on PARAPOD TV. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an energetic healer. I'm a 29-year talk radio host in Los Angeles and beyond. I'm a creative and performing artist and interfaith minister, and I come to you live from my home in Southern California every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific time only on PARAPOD TV. And boy, we are happy to be a part of this beautiful and exciting network that also hosts the PARAPOD convention. And the second annual will be next year. I spoke at the first annual and was so excited to do so. So here's what happens on the show every week. I'm a real psychic. I have real people on the show. They ask real questions. I work to get real answers from spirit. And then hopefully we have a real discussion and get them some real answers and some real healing. That's what this show is all about. It's about being real, keeping it real, me being real, the folks on the show being real, and you getting to enjoy that and getting to see what it's like to see a real psychic experience going on before your eyes. If you want to be a guest on the show, send me a text message. It's 818-437-0886. And if you want to know more about me, visit my website. It's sheenametalspiritual.com. And of course, always visit me on social media. I'm at Sheena Metal everywhere. That's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. We have to say, how long until we have to not say formerly Twitter anymore? I feel like it's going to be a really long time. So every week on the show, I like to talk about a little something before we get started with the messages from spirit to folks. And this week I want to talk a little bit about consistency. I don't think that people realize how important in a relationship with another person, or you doing your spiritual work, or you working on your life path, how important consistency is. Nobody expects you to get and have all the answers right away. Nobody expects you to do everything right every time. Nobody expects you to, go from 0 to 100 on your first try. Even spirit doesn't expect you to get it right in each lifetime, which is why we come back from life to life and we work things out. But there needs to be some consistency. I see a lot of people who they start on their spiritual path, then they jump off their spiritual path, and then they don't understand why they have to go back and do some work. And it's because you're supposed to be consistently moving forward. In a relationship with somebody, you're supposed to be consistently moving forward. If you're only connected to them in fits and starts, right? If you're in, then you're out, then you're in, then you're out, then you're in, then you're, well, then that relationship is never going to go anywhere. And sometimes people will come and see me in my spiritual practice and say, well, I don't understand. How come everything seemed fine? And then, why am I losing my spouse? Why is my family member mad at me? Why are my friendships not what I hoped? And a lot of times it's because we can't stay emotionally and spiritually and physically present with others, with ourselves, with spirit. We can't stay present. And because of that, we continue to lose ground because we're supposed to stay consistent. That's what it's about. We're supposed to stay connected. And when we don't, then these are the problems that happen. So when you're working on something, whether it's something you're doing in your three-dimensional life, you're taking a class, or you're working on, learning tarot, or doing steps towards enlightenment, whatever it is, working on the 4 agreements, you have to stay consistent because life continues to move forward, right? We age every day. The earth turns. The world is moving, whether you are or not. And if you're not keeping up with it, moving along and staying consistent, then you get left behind and you're always running to catch up. And that's much harder than just staying consistent, and staying present is so much easier. It's just a little something to think about. Let's just think about that for today. Between now and next week, when I see you on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, think about that. Okay. And now I'd like to give somebody a message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, Sheena. This is Vanessa.
Hi,
I'm from Northern Virginia.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
thank you for having me on your show today.
It's a pleasure to have you on my show today. What's your question for me, sweetheart?
Yes, please. I have and always have had a very, very difficult relationship with my sister.
Okay.
Ever since we were babies, small children. She's older than me. In 2019, my father, who passed away, I was very, very close to him my whole life. My sister wasn't. And the last few years, I've discovered that she did some really terrible things in the last few years of his life. And I've been trying to deal with these problems on, a professional, humane, dignified level. But I keep hitting a wall, and I'm not quite sure where I should go with this.
Yeah, and this is a problem that has existed since your sister and you were little, right? She's always been like this.
Yes.
She cuts corners. What my mama used to call takes her half right out of the middle. Everything's always about her, and if it's not about her, then she will find ways to make it about her, even if she has to use trickery or tell lies or whatever she has to do, right? That's just
absolutely. Yep, spot on.
So this is the thing that Spirit wants to say to you, honey, about her, Vanessa, starting out the gate. She's never going to behave like a normal person. She's never going to be who you want her to be. She's always going to be self-motivated, selfish. It's her world and we all live in it, and it's all about her and everything's about her. And that's how she's always going to be. So what you have to do to survive, sweetheart, is you have to learn how to work around her, which means that you need to find a way to live your life and relate to people that the two of you have in common, and stay below the radar as much as you can with her, and just not expect that she's going to ever behave or be normal or be treating people the way she should, and allow that load, honey, to be lifted off of you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. She also stole some money.
Sure she did.
And yeah, and it's going nowhere, even though I have professional help.
No.
She just doesn't care. She just doesn't care.
She doesn't care, and she'll probably never, ever turn up with that money. And she's just a scoundrel, and she doesn't care. Everything's about her. And in her mind, if you ask her, she would talk about how everyone in the family has screwed her over and abused her, how you've been abusive towards her. Everybody cuts her the raw deal. I mean, in her mind, she's just a victim and she's swinging on the cross. But the truth is, she's the one who manipulates and scams everybody. And in her mind, she's a perfect angel who just gets taken advantage of. And she's never going to cop to what she's done. And there's no sense in even trying to get her to. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So I should just let go and move on.
Let go and
let
move
it be what it's going to be.
Let go and move on, and try as much as you can to stay off her radar, because you don't need that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know that's not always what we want to hear, because we want to hear they're going to change and someday we're going to have a decent relationship with them. And I wish that was true, honey, but your sister's a narcissist, and she's never going to be, it's like I talked about last week, the lesson of the scorpion and the frog, right? Even if she dies, she will always sting another. It's in her nature to just be nasty. And I'm sorry that this is happening to you. I know it's been a perpetual journey in growth for you your entire life to deal with her.
Yes, it has. And I have moved on. I have a beautiful life. I've made a lovely life for myself and my daughter. And but I would like to have my sister in my life. But
No.
I kind of know it's not to be, not given what's happened the last few years. It's
Just boundaries, sweetie. Keep her at a distance.
okay.
Keep her at a safe distance where she can't sting you.
Okay.
You know?
That
She's like
sounds
having one of those fish that you can't put in the tank with the other fish because it'll kill them. But if you just put them in by themselves and they're surrounded by glass and you don't put your hand in the tank, it's okay. So just find the perimeter with which it is safe to keep her on the outside of that. And then you can have a relationship with her with your heart always being broken.
yeah, well, I'm not willing to let that happen. I'd
No.
rather let go
Okay.
and put a big tall wall up and
That's another
enjoy my
option.
life.
Wonderful. Good girl. All right,
Thank
sweetheart.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Take care, Vanessa. I'm
Thank
sorry
you
about
too,
that.
Sheena. Bye-bye.
Bye, honey. I always hate when I can't deliver great news. Like, it's going to work out. Your sister's a good person and she's going to fix everything. Everything's going to be fine. No. Scoundrel. Sorry about that. This is what we need to learn. When you have a narcissist in your life, you have two choices. One is to cut bait, put up a boundary, and be done. And the other is to create a periphery of distance with which you feel safe and you don't feel like you're getting messed over. And then make sure you always keep them at that energetic distance. And a lot of people don't understand that that doesn't have to be a physical distance. You can still go to family dinner and see that person. But energetically, they're here and you've pulled your energy back here. Does that make sense? All right. I wish you the best. Everybody who asked a question on the show, if you're watching and you're in the chat room or anywhere, send them love, send hearts and prayers. It's hard to get up here, especially be first like Vanessa was. It's hard to get up here and start asking questions. So let's do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, Sheena. It's Jonathan from Jefferson, Mass.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Good. My question for Spirit is,
Sure.
I want to know my relationship with Ronnie, my boyfriend Ronnie,
Okay.
has been kind of feels like it's slowly diminishing,
Okay.
and I'm not sure what to do with it about the
Okay.
situation.
All right. You mean you still love him and want to stay in the relationship with him, right?
I do.
Okay, this is the thing. You guys need to have a reboot. There needs to be a reboot. And the reboot starts, Jonathan, with a conversation. There needs to be a conversation between the two of you where you sit down, clean the slate, get out all the old resentments and worries and things that are causing the distance, right? It's right. You're looking at each other through a crowded garage full of stuff is what it feels like to me. So
Right.
you need to get all that stuff out of the way. And it means having sometimes some difficult conversations that hurt, but you need to do a fresh reboot. Plan on the equinox. September 21st is the autumn equinox, right? That's like 2 weeks away, and say, let's try to make this a reboot day. And let's it's a new season and it's a great day to do it on, and let's be prepared and write down what we want to talk about and get through all this stuff and start fresh. And
Right.
then you need to get the romance back into your soul, right? There needs to be like a lot of sex and intimacy and talking and together time where it's just the two of you and the TV's off. There's nothing wrong with the TV. It can come on later, but you guys need to have some serious connection time.
Right. It feels like both him and I have like stuff on our chest that we need to get out.
Yes. Yeah, and
each
some of it's
other.
really old. I mean, some of it goes back to the very beginnings of the relationship.
Yeah. And he like we both have like financial issues that are keeping like every summer we used to go on vacations. We haven't been able to the last 2 years just because of the money not being there.
Right.
So that kind of like that fun part of that part of the relationship is kind of like gone because maybe it's just our choices,
Right. Yes. So you need to make, I mean, even if you do like a staycation, there needs to be time to get that back.
Right.
How about a staycation? How about camp out on the bed and have some intimacy time and cook for each other, and you know what I mean?
He's been asking about, coming over to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And I've been saying no because of just being tired and stuff. And
No, you gotta, even if you just do it once or twice a week, you have to carve out time for each other. Quality over quantity, Jonathan, okay?
yes.
All right. So you need to think of a date and invite him on a date. And the date can be come over for TV and I'll cook. But there needs to be a date.
Yes.
All right. Will
Yeah,
you work on that for me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I love love and I never want to see love die.
Right.
Unless it's with a narcissist, but this is not the case.
Another story.
All right, Jonathan, take care.
Thank you so much.
Spirit's behind you.
Yep.
If you're watching right now, throw Jonathan some love. He's trying to get back into the groove with his person. That's so exciting. Yeah, you can't let the love die. And unfortunately, an important part of the love, if you're in a romantic relationship, is the sex and the romance and the making an effort. And for some people, it's very difficult to make an effort. And that person could be you, it could be your person, or it could be both of you. But you need to make an effort. Even when you got something else going on or you're busy, you got to make time for your person. All right? Okay. All right. Let's do a message from Spirit. I'm ready. Who's up?
Hey, Sheena. This is Steven from Oklahoma.
Hey, how are you, Steven?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
My question is, do I have any gifts?
You mean spiritual gifts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a major empath, my friend. Really big, which is why you feel so much hurt. You feel everyone's hurt. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't serve you. Sometimes, and I talk about this a lot, right? But sometimes the most beautiful things that Spirit gives us, right, are the things that sometimes don't benefit us. Like being an empath, right, is one of the most beautiful things about you, Stephen, but it doesn't always benefit for your own life because you sort of always be the one who cares more, feels more, thinks more, tries to work things out, tries to patch everything up, the healer, the fixer, all the things that empaths are. And sometimes that's hard on you. So really this next leg of your journey, honey, is about you figuring out how to control your empathy in a way that you make it work for you and you still live as a happy person. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So just start thinking about that. How do I not kill what's beautiful in me? Because I don't want to kill this. But at the same time, I need to find a way to make this something that doesn't kill me. It needs to be something that I'm not always in a state of anguish and freaking out because, because it's too much. All right. So
yes,
work on that, sweetie. Okay. And we're all sending you love.
All right. Thank you.
I'm sending you love. Take care, Stephen.
You too.
I'm sending everyone love. It's hard to be an empath. And I bet so many of you watching right now are empaths. And man, it's rough. It's rough to be an empath. But it is the most beautiful thing about you. And once you get it under control, it will go from being the thing that gives you the most angst to being the thing that you realize is the most beautiful thing about you, So let's get our empathy under control, and then you'll be so happy. All right. Let's do a message from Spirit. I'm ready.
Hi, Sheena. Hi, I'm Shauna from Tarkio, Missouri.
Hi, Shauna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. What's your question today?
Well, I think, I've kind of known that I feel that I've had abilities from a very young age, but I've been battling them all my life because the way my family was very Christian. It was the wrong thing. So I'm different from my family. But I've been getting a lot of validation in the past couple of years. I think that I'm still supposed to pursue that pathway more. but I'm kind of at a loss. I feel lost as to how I do that. I'm trying to learn how to build boundaries because I've a lot of heartache because I take everybody else's problems and feelings and everything in. So I guess that's the thing that I think I kind of want to know. Am I on the right path? Am I listening to the right messages? And what do I do next?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard when you're fighting against your own nature. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your family has imposed into you that something is wrong, and that's who you are.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly
hard. But you can't stop who you are because somebody else doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So you need to keep pursuing your gift. But like I talked about, oddly enough, right before you came on, getting your empathy under control. I know there's an echo.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was interrupting. I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. I know there's an echo. And I'm sorry. You probably can't hear it. I can't.
No.
The number one thing you have to do before you start pursuing your gifts is you need to get your empathy under control. Okay?
Okay.
Take care of you. You're on the right road.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Sean. Okay, now that there's no more echo, it's not Shauna's fault. Shauna's probably still in the green room, which is great. She can hear this. When you are an empath or a super empath, enough of an empath that it impedes your life, the first number one thing you have to do is you have to get your empathy under control. Don't open up your gifts, right? And Sean, I'm talking to you and everybody like you. Don't become the person that decides, I'm going to be a medium, I'm going to be a clairvoyant, I'm going to be a channeler, until you have your empathy under control, because you're having a hard enough time navigating the earthbound plane. Navigating the spirit plane is a real hayride. No matter how adjusted you are, it's still an adjustment to get used to that. So yeah, it's really important that you learn to get your empathy under control. All right. And it's not good to be feeling everybody's everything anyhow. We're not meant to feel everybody's stuff. It's too much, you know? All right, Sean, I'm wishing you the best of luck. Let's all send Shauna some love. If you're watching and you're in the chat or you're catching this on demand, you can still send love. It is possible. If you want to be a guest on the show, send me a text message, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. Or visit me at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com, because that's absolutely the best. SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. Best way to learn about me. There's so much there you can learn about in regards to what I do and who I am, and visit me there. And also on social media. I'm very active on all social media: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X. I try to post something every day on those. And I also I'm back. It had to happen sooner or later. So this is what's weird. The number that nobody has, somebody called. and because I use a phone for a camera, because I think they're better cameras than the ones for laptops. And then it shut me down. So anyway, as I was saying, and then thanks to our beautiful, wonderful engineer and producer, Emery, who made this amazing thing that says technical difficulties, please stand by, because he's a genius. Thank you, Emery. I couldn't do this without you. And I couldn't do this without Tony Sweet, of course, who owns Parapod TV and the Parapod Festival and the sister stations, radio stations, UBN Go and LGBTQ Go. I'm talking about social media. I try to stay present on social media every day. There's something new for you to look at. And 3 times a week, I do live psychic broadcasts there where people can ask questions via text. So it's kind of like this show in a way, except you're not really seeing live people on here with me. So it's not as fun as this. This is the most fun of all. Everybody's done so great so far. So I'm so happy to be here with everybody. I think we had a little spiritual intervention because right before that happened, I keep a stopwatch running on my phone so that I know not to run over with folks and to keep the schedule. And that died. And then right after that, the feed died. So I think we had a little bit of a spirit interruption. Kind of scary. Okay, so let's do a message from spirit.
Hi, Sheena. I'm Lulu from Dallas, Texas.
Hi, Lulu. How are you, sweetheart?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you. You look beautiful, and it's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you. So I just got back from a retreat to Mount Shasta. I don't know if you've ever been there. Just received sort of a lot of like messages, and I think coming home, you know, the integration period, like I got stuff about ancestral clearing, and I'm actually starting my PhD, and so just feeling a little bit unsure. So perhaps just any kind of insight on maybe what I need to focus on for right now. Right?
Sure. Well, yes, everything good. Everything you learned in Mount Shasta, fantastic to take with you. I'm super happy for you that you got that information and that clearing and that healing. Exciting time starting your PhD. Obviously, time of great shift, right, Lulu? I think when we come back from a spiritual retreat like that, the most important thing to remember is there's 2 things. One is you have to make sure you don't lose what happened there and leave it behind where you were, because it's so easy to be so into it in the moment during the retreat, right? And then you come home and real life is like, and then you just go, and you leave it all behind. It's so important that you bring it with you and you keep it with you. I cannot even tell you how important that is. The other thing that's important is it's important that when you come back, you're not so foofy-la-la that you refuse to integrate what you learned into your earth life. Because ultimately, the biggest obstacle, challenge, goal of every lifetime, in every lifetime we have different obstacles and different gifts and different things to overcome, challenges. But every single lifetime, we have the same thing, which is to integrate our spiritual life and our earth life, right? To take our 5D self and our 3D self and make them like this. And it's hard. So when you go to something like a retreat like that and you get all this new information, you do all this clearing, you come back all fresh and renewed, it's very hard to get motivated to get back into your life. And part of you is still back there. And it's totally okay to feel that way. But remember, the goal is to take what happened there and integrate it here. It's kind of like when you take a really amazing, like 45-minute hot bath, and then you get out of the bathtub, you're like, my day's done. I just want to go to sleep. I'm over it. That's it. There's nothing I want to do today. It's kind of the same thing. Once you've had that kind of enlightenment and unveiling and unloading of stuff you don't need and such a spiritual epiphany after epiphany, it's hard to come back here to paying the overpriced electric bill and getting ready to get back into school and the hustle and bustle of that. So just remember, you're bringing everything from Mount Shasta in, and it's going to live inside of you now. So you're not thinking of it as something that feels different than your earth life that you left to go there. You're thinking of it as something that you're now integrating into your earth life and making like the super life out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so some of this consistency you're talking about, just doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying consistent, because you tend to go all full bore into something and then all full bore into something else, and that's admirable. But the consistency is easier and it's better. You have to just stay. And also, I think with you, sweetie, you're such a student of earth, of academics, of spirituality, that you're always wanting to make things happen, which is beautiful. But the real trick of spirit, of working with spirit, is to just be consistent and be present and live in the isness and let spirit throw at you what is the next thing, right? So
Yeah.
go into your PhD, but not with expectations. Just, I'm doing this because I want to get this knowledge. Not, when I get this, I can do X, Y, and Z, because spirit can have a whole different PD and Q ready for you. You know what I mean? You never know what spirit's going to decide is the thing. So I think for you, it's a hard thing for you, but this is a great time to learn this lesson. Stay present and let spirit unveil what's next. And that's in every aspect of your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I'm so happy. This is such an exciting time. You're sitting on the precipice of such an exciting time, sweetheart.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You bet, sweetie. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you, Lulu. And what I said to Lulu, that applies to everybody, all of you people. Transitions are beautiful. They're hard, but they're beautiful because you don't know what's coming, right? I mean, it's like Googling crystals, and then there's all the stuff you can get. And it can be overwhelming because suddenly there are all these different options and you're trying to figure out what to go with. And that can be an overwhelming thing. But you have to think of a transition not as trying, but as exciting, and not as overwhelming, but as enlightening. And most important, and Spirit gives me this message over and over and over again, you need to think of yourself as someone that things happen for, and not as someone that things happen to. I get that message with clients all the time, usually when they're feeling very down. So something to think about. We're sending some love to Lulu. So beautiful. And if anyone is interested in booking a private session with me, it's easy. Send me a text message and I'll get you all the information. 818-437-0886. And remember, if you want to be a guest on this show, and you know you do, 818-437-0886. We're always booking about a month ahead. So keep that in mind. Think about what your October looks like, because that's what we're doing right now. 818-437-0886. My website, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. And visit me on social media at Sheena Metal everywhere. That's Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and X. And remember, I do 2 radio shows every week for iHeartRadio. That is Haunted Playground is my paranormal spiritual show, and Raising the Vibration is my spiritual enlightenment show. And I'm starting a brand new show, new announcement, brand new show next month with a very gifted friend of mine that works in the wellness community. We're going to be approaching things from wellness, psychological aspect, and from spiritual and Zen healing aspect. And the show is going to be called Side by Side. So that's going to be coming up on iHeartRadio pretty soon. And hopefully soon also, I'm going to start a second show for Parapod coming up in the fall when I have time and Parapod has time. And that's going to be very exciting. I just have to look at the schedule and figure out where it's going to be. And of course, every Friday, I do my talk show, The Sheena Metal Experience, on KGRA Digital Broadcast Network. And that's sort of where spirituality meets creativity. It's for creatives and spiritual beings kind of coming together and finding that aspect of both inside of us. And I interview some pretty terrific people. So if you want to see some old archives of that show, you can go to my YouTube channel, kgradb.com. Okay. All All right, I'm ready to deliver another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, Sheena. My name is Joanne, and I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Hey, Joanne.
And, the last probably 10 years, I've just been life. I understand that we're here to learn lessons, and it just seems like life has been throwing me all of these lessons constantly. And I've been dodging and weaving and trying not to fall down that rabbit hole of, just not getting it. And I decided a couple of months ago that I need to start making plans or come up with a goal.
Sure.
Of what to do and kind of get my life to maybe slow down and be a little more pleasant than it's been.
because that part is important too. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it just seems like I've been trying to get, I just have this dark cloud following me around. Anyway, so I've made some goals and it's hard to figure out which fork in the road to go on.
Sure.
And I just need to know if I need to stay where I am or move, and if I'm on the right track.
You're completely on the right track. Spirit is not suggesting a move at this time. They're sort of saying that you have enough on your plate, Joanne, without adding a move.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. And that's kind of been my conundrum of, do I go this way or do I go that way?
Right.
Yes. Go ahead.
Let's just keep taking baby steps forward. Fix a lot of the things in your life that you feel really need to get fixed. And then once you're more grounded, connected to you, connected to everything, feel like you got a little less turmoil in your life, then decide, do I want to geographically stay where I am or do I want to move somewhere else? But you need to get all your ducks in a row inside of you first. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, that does make sense. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do. And part of me was like, well, maybe I just need to up and go somewhere else. But then the last
you take
couple weeks, it's been like, no, maybe I need to figure it out here.
I think we all, when we're starting to feel frustrated, we're like, I got to get out of this place. But then we take our problems with us.
Well, and I totally understand that, it's like, okay, but it's just confusing.
I know, sweetie.
I'm just at a point where I'm like, okay, tell me.
I think
tell me, because I'm obviously not doing this right. Yeah.
I think you're in a beautiful place, sweetheart. And I think you just need to keep moving forward the way you are. Let's get everything inside of you taken care of. And then we will figure out whether or not you want to move somewhere else. That's what Spirit is saying.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheena.
Take care, sweetheart. Sending you love. Everybody on such beautiful questions about spiritual path today. I start talking about consistency, and then all the questions are, do I have gifts? What about my path? What about this with my relationship and the path of that? Beautiful. Let's do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Who are you and where are you from, sweetie?
Good, good.
What's your question for me today?
Well, I've been widowed about 3 years, and I'm wondering if you foresee me in any type of relationship anytime soon.
Absolutely. I see something happening as it really starts to get warm next year.
Okay.
So it's looking like maybe end of May to beginning of July, and all of June is a possibility.
Okay, perfect.
And it's somebody that you're going to meet outdoors. There's an outdoors event.
Okay.
Are you
That's
at a
good.
shooting range?
I am. Yeah, I do training.
That's the best. That's
Yeah, I do firearms training with my
in my
girlfriend here,
entire
Barb.
30-year. Hi. You're the
Hi.
first person in my entire life that's ever called to ask a spiritual question from the shooting range.
Yeah.
Second one, because when I talked to you a couple weeks ago, I was at a training too.
You guys are the best. So there
So
actually
much
are
fun.
people that tune into the show from the shooting range. Yeah, sweetie, it's outdoors. I see something that looks like a beach, like a lake or the ocean or a river. And
Okay.
there's an event, and that's where you're going to meet this person.
Okay. Do you see anything, within the next few months?
Yes, dating, dates on and off, but not the big relationship.
Okay. Take that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Happy shooting.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Only on this show would someone call from a shooting range and ask a question about love. And then somebody else, oh yeah, I called you from the shooting range 2 weeks ago. That's fantastic. I love this show because you never know what's going to happen. So many great things and so much fun, and everybody's so great. And I just love this show. We're here every Wednesday at 2:00 Pacific time only on PARAPOD TV. Me and my wonderful cohort, my engineer and producer Emery, and then all the networky stuff is done by the wonderful Tony Sweet on his end. I think you all are so wonderful, and there's nothing I like to do better than to end the show with giving someone a message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, Sheena.
How are
I'm
you,
Cindy.
sweetie?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm Cindy, and I'm from Temple, Texas.
Beautiful.
And my question is, I have a friend who is married to a severe narcissist.
Oh, honey, I'm
And,
so
and she has left him 5 or 6 times, and he ends up talking her back into going back, or she feels like she doesn't have the strength to be on her own. She's been with me 3 times. And I think now he's trying to kind of keep her away from me so that I can't influence her.
Right. And well, it's so that she doesn't have any place to go, Cindy, right? Because you were the place she went.
Yeah.
So he wants to make sure she doesn't have a place to go, she won't leave.
Yeah. And I had an intuition that he might kill her because he has strangled her and he has hit her before. And then when I saw her just a couple of weeks ago, I felt like he wasn't going to kill her physically. He is destroying her mentally and other ways physically, because she can barely walk now. She feels pain all over her whole body. She's not the same person she was just a few months ago. Yeah. And I'm not sure what to tell her, or if there's anything I can tell her to help her.
No, unfortunately, it's very hard when somebody is in the grips of being with a narcissist, right? It's very, very hard to convince them that there's a part of them, there's the part of them that's rational in the back of their mind telling them, right, you got to get away. This is awful. This isn't where you belong. This person is not good. But they know just how to get in and energetically manipulate you and move you, right, Cindy? So they're almost like Stepford wives. They're like zombie people. They're not quite there because they're under the influence of the vampire, right? It's like one of those, like that scene from Dracula where Jonathan Harker goes to Dracula's castle and there's all these women there that are just Dracula's food source, right? He just goes and they just let him do it. It's kind of like that. You become energetically a narcissist food source. And that's what she has become. And he has drained her so badly that now she's, physically, her physical system now can't hold out against it. And she's now not walking. And then that makes her weaker. And he just keeps eating her vibrance like a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I can tell that. That's
as
true.
far as she's gone now, and I wish I had better news, sweetie, but as far as she is gone now, nobody can bring her out of it but her. She has to be the one, because she's become now, Cindy, she's become physically reliant upon him.
Yes.
So now it seems that much more overwhelming to leave him.
Yeah.
So
Makes
now
sense.
if you told her you got to go, and you put pressure on her, and I understand that. We've all been there with friends. We put pressure on them. We've all been through that. But if you get to that point now where that's what you're doing, and now she has to think about, well, how do I actually physically get out of here? How would I leave? You know what I mean? And
I
you're
do.
right, everything you said, sweetie, and it breaks my heart, but he is killing her.
Yeah.
He probably won't murder her. She probably will just get weaker and weaker and weaker, and then he'll become her full-time caregiver, and then one day, she'll just wither away.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. But
And
I
know
would never tell her to go get up and leave, because I know that's not my place. It's got to be her choice to decide to do it if she did.
It has to be. I have a best friend who is under the influence of a narcissist, and every time this person does something horrible, I say, you got to get away. You got to get away. But I can't pressure, because I know if I pressure. So when my friend texts me and says, that's it, I'm not talking to this person anymore, I say, terrific, great, keep ignoring. But then inevitably my friend always goes back, and I can't. It's not for me to also become the manipulator in their life. You know what I mean?
I do.
So you're doing the right thing. I know it's a frustrating situation, and I think you're amazing. All I can say is, energetically, you can send love to her. You can send strength to her. You can send healing to her. You can suggest to universe they block his awful energy. Spiritually, you can keep doing the work, but emotionally, I think your hands are kind of tied right now.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So let's all pray. Anybody who's watching right now, let's pray, send prayers that Cindy's friend gets it and gets away.
Thank you.
Because there's still hope for her. Thank you, sweetheart.
And hopefully that'll help somebody else who's in the same situation.
Absolutely.
Too, maybe.
Yes, who's not as far gone. I know it's a difficult situation. You're handling it beautifully.
Thank you.
What a great
show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, honey. What a great show of great questions and great answers and great information. And I absolutely adore and love you all. Come be a guest on the show. Send me a text message, 818-437-0886. That's also the number that you use if you want to contact me about a private session or taking one of my workshops or ordering something from my store. I've got crystals and great healing tools. 818-437-0886. All of that is also on my website, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. And also find me on social media at Sheena Metal, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. We're still saying it. Thanks to my wonderful engineer and producer, Emery. Thanks to Tony and Parapod TV. Until I see you all next Wednesday at 2:00 Pacific time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and know that you are loved and you are loved and you're so loved by me. I'm Sheena. This is Messages from Spirit. Parapod TV is where we are. And you know what? I'll see you next week. Take care of you. Live in love.
Mm-hmm.